Good evening, our buddies. Hey, it's a little later in the day than I'm usually at my desk, but I just said to my husband, before I come get in my comfy chair, I want to go do a little recording. I had purchased this book, a leisure arts book from the Craft Vendors Market, which runs out of Keisha's Creations channel on YouTube. It was just a couple of dollars, but it piqued my interest because it is to knit and it includes making bracelets with beads. So I thought, why not have a look? So I got it in the mail the other day, and some of them look quite interesting to me, and I think I can do some. So here you get some beginning instructions, some helpful tips, which, I read a little bit of that, not all of it. I'm really not a reader. I'm rather just jump in and make a fool of myself, right? Try it about, I don't know, a dozen times and then read the instructions. That's how I roll. Look at this one. This kind of reminds me of a shrimp. I'll go for some shrimp. Pink ice cuff. Now, I'm going to be using what I have. See, I don't have any of these fancy schmancy toggle gizmos. I might have to get a couple of those. We're going to see how this one goes. This bracelet goes. Look at that with all the deep blues called Twilight. Now these bracelets from anywhere from 30 some beads to this one. This is I think seed beads. Let's say seed beads 232. Now this one's a little scary to me because they've got to all line up. I did put a clip on the one I'm going to try. Same with this one. I'm not crazy about the look of this, but I think if you would change the background thread that you use, that might be a better look. I know I've got some toggles somewhere, but I might have just thrown some out. These are square beads called Dazzle Braid. Look at this yummy purple. I think they're seed beads too, are they? Yeah, assorted glass seed beads. I also did buy some beads from the market, but I'm not going to use those today. No, this isn't the one I'm going to do. Oh, this has got a great big bead that you use. I think it's the closure. Yeah, oval bead for closure. This one is called Fire and Ice. Oh, that toggle's different. It's square. But then the little ring part, so it's actually a diamond shape. This is the one I'm going to do. However, it's not going to look like that. Hot pastel gumdrops, because I pulled out some different types of things to work with. I'm going to use what's in my stash. Bricolage. I'm going to use what I have available. This one's a nice one. Your choice. They did it in black and red and white. Forest Whispers. This one's really cool because you add charms in. I got all kinds of stuff hanging here. I don't know if you can see that. See, it's got charms hanging and different beads. Isn't it cute the way they have it displayed? It says, I think on the cover there's 15. Caribe? I don't know how to say that word. Caribe? Dazzle. Looks like the Caribbean, doesn't it? Well, this may not work out. We're going to see. I'm going to give it a go. And then different project information. I may have to look at that. We'll just see. All right, so back to where I am going to work. Hot pastel or pastel gumdrops. So it's telling me the finished piece is going to be 7¼ inches long, including the toggle, which probably might be a little small for me. The bracelet will stretch to fit 7¼ to 7¾ of a wrist. I'm going to use, they're recommending polyester floss, 8¾ yards, 1 skein. So I have this. It's not polyester. It says it's silk. and there is 10 yards here. An assorted 4 to 10 millimeter glass beads. I don't have a gauge to show me the size, so I just picked out what I had in my stash. And these are, some of them are beads, some of them aren't. Some of them are like pearly looking things. But I think those colors look cool together. So I've got 30. That's what they say. 30. And I'm going to need 2 bead spacers, which I have these little gold numbers. Nothing's going to match. A toggle clasp set. I don't have that. What I do have is one end of the toggle and then just a ring that I think I can make work. But this is what I have available. So I'm going to see if I can get that to work. I'm going to need a blunt tapestry needle, which I have right here by my desk, a beading needle, which is this. You can't see that in my hand. Hold on. It's one of those real skinny, real thin wired needle with a big open eye. That's not working. I want you to be able to see this. What might, oh, maybe this red. Will the red work? Can you kind of see? So that's what I have for my beading needle. Sewing needle and thread to match the floss and clear nail polish. Now, instead of the clear nail polish, which I have, I just didn't pull it out. I'm going to use my diamond glaze, which is like a glossy accent. I think that will work fine. Now, to lengthen or, oh, here we go. To lengthen or shorten by 3/4 of an inch, 1 centimeter, increase or decrease the number of beads strung in increments of 2. Now, I did pull these out, but I don't know if I counted those in the 30. Let's see. They're my spacers or ending or whatever they call them. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 2, 4, 6. Yeah, I counted those. 30. Now, where did I get those beads? I can add. I wonder if these are the same. Let's have a look. They're a different pink, but they'll work. I'm going to add 2 more in because I would like this to fit me. That might be all I need. I'll see. We're going to give it a go. We're going to give it a go. All right. Now, using beading needle, string 30 beads onto the floss in random order. But what I don't see that it says, I guess you just work from this. You don't cut your thread to a certain length for your string. Okay, let me unlatch this. Now this might be a bit fiddly to work with, and it's probably not great for you to be looking at the book. Let me see, where can I put the book? I'll put it right to the right of me there. All right, so I'm going to take you see I've got a couple additional things here because I wasn't sure what I was going to use. So I'm going to put this, now I'm not a beader, so I do knit. I do crochet. I prefer to knit. Now, let me just read all the directions because my first question is when they say you need to have 2 spacer beads, I wonder if you put those on first. For a tapestry needle, work a blanket stitch across, bound off stitches, force the edge, move the ends in, removing the bead. I should have done this ahead of time. But see, if I was sitting at my desk working, this is what I would do. Take care not to catch previous swatches when passing through. Looks like the spacer beads maybe go on last. All right, so I'm just going to do it. Just going to do exactly, I'm very literal. I'm going to do exactly what it says. Mm. I'm going to try to be random. I have a hard time with random. Now, sometimes these beads, it's hard to see. Um, it's hard to see where the little hole is. I'm going to try not to think about it too much. So now I have 34 beads instead of 30 because I want to make the bracelet a little bigger than it says. And some of these seem like this is a bead. It's got gold on it. It looks like it's glass, but I don't really know. I don't know how you tell. It's so small. It could be plastic. It could be plastic. I don't want it to be laid out where everything is one color at one end. So I have just a few of these ones. These look like something that grows on a tree. I used to find in the schoolyard when I was a kid. I don't know what they're called. And they were a brighter green color than that. Now that's like a big pony bead, but they're kind of weird looking. It looks like it's got some kind of metallic innards. And since I picked out, see, there's some stuff here I'm not going to use. I wasn't sure. Since I picked out gold, somewhere I have a box with all kinds of little jump rings and that kind of thing. But I don't know where I put it. That's like my mantra. I don't know where I put it. Oh, I hope I can. There we go. We'll go back the other way with that one. This one I'm pretty sure is plastic. Now, what I could have done somewhere, I have, and I don't think I got rid of it. I might have given it to Goodwill. I had a beading tray that came with something I purchased. I guess maybe some tools. And you could lay out your beads to see how you like them and then rearrange them. And then, that would make sense. But no. Why would I want to do that? Trying not to really pay too much attention, but that's very hard. It's very hard not to pay attention. And I don't have the right glasses on to do this. My glasses that I can really see with are on top of my head, not on my face. But when I'm working at my desk, I kind of switch back and forth. Now, I have no idea how long this video will be because I just don't know how long it's going to take me to do this. I've not done it before. I probably should stick to what I know, but what fun is there in that, right? Now, I notice I still have 3. Boy, that's hard to see there it is. I want to get using these up. I've still got 3 of these left. Mix that in there. Let's see. Can you imagine that one bracelet's got over 200 beads? That would be a project for sitting in front of the TV. Get your little tray of beads and your thread and just sit and bead while you're watching a movie. Oh, I've got this song in my head. I don't know the words because it's Italian. It's a young fella and I think his grandmom. I saw them on Instagram. And they both have really beautiful voices. But his voice is like to die for. And I have the tune in my head and it won't leave me alone. Let's see, let's put one of these on. I'll bet you if Gail watches this, she knows what I'm talking about. It's a tree and it had a bumpy green thing like this, all bumpy. It's like a light limey green, and they were about that big, and we used to see them in our schoolyard. These are going to be all bunched together. I'll leave that for the end. Let me have this. And this light green. This was some kind of a bracelet or necklace I took apart. When my son and I were in Europe in 2021, we he enjoyed it too, but he kind of, I don't think he would have done this if I hadn't asked to do it. But I wanted to find charity shops, and so we went to a few charity shops in Switzerland and in France. And there was one place in France that I found some jewelry, like costume jewelry that I purchased. So I don't know if that's some of this. I guess I should have remembered or marked it, but I don't think I did. All right, so now they're all strung on there. Let me move see, I have this taped down so you don't see the light reflecting in my glass mat, but let me move it down a little bit. And I can maybe work on top of that and you can see a little better. So there are my beads. So now I'm going to carefully take my beading needle off, because if you're familiar with these at all, they're very flimsy wire and it's really easy, if you're not gentle, to break the eye of this needle. And I don't want to do that. All right, so now I need my instructions. All right, it says leave a 16-inch end, and then I'm going to cast on 3 stitches, and I'm going to, for rows 1 and 2, I'm going to knit across. So I've got my Timmy mat here, And I've got 14-inch measurement. This is very convenient. And then add 2 inches. And then I'm going to cast on. Now I'm going to do the long tail cast on. And it calls for size 2 knitting needles. And I read that somewhere, but I don't see where that is right now. But so this is how I cast on. There's a lot of different ways. So it says to cast on 3. And probably the fact that this is white, a white creamy thread, and my needles are white, but this is the size 2 I had. I didn't have them in a different color. I have double pointed ones, but I didn't want anything slipping off the end. All right, so it tells me to knit across for rows 1 and 2. So I want to make sure that I'm knitting and using the right thread and that I'm connected to my thread spool. So it's only 3 stitches. So I turn my work. Now, if you don't know how to knit and you want to know how to knit, there are videos on YouTube, and certainly if you ask me, I will try to help you. But I'm really just working at my desk wanting to see if I can make this bracelet. So this isn't a learn how to knit video. All right, so next, this is my right side. I'm going to knit 1, and then with the yarn in front, I'm going to slide a bead up, and then I'm going to purl 1, knit 1. So I'm going to knit 1. I'm going to put my yarn in front of my needles. I'm sliding up a bead, and I'm figuring it's going to be, try to get that as close as I can. And then I'm going to purl. Ooh. The yarn goes back, or thread, and then I knit. Oh, that was exciting for me. I hope that was exciting for you. Row 4, I'm going to put this up on my computer, is just knit across. Now again, I want to make sure I'm not grabbing that 16-inch tail we left. So I'm going to knit 3. All right, now I'm going to knit 2. And I'm trying to knit fairly tight. I'm going to put the yarn in front and slide up my next bead. And then it tells me to purl. So if you are a knitter, of course, you know that when you purl, your yarn is in front of your work. And then it tells me row 6, I'm going to knit across. Now I got to keep sliding these beads down, because as I use the thread, I'm getting closer and closer. Now I'm assuming they want you to have that 16-inch tail for a reason. Now I think I could get I think I can knit tighter. Let me just see here. So then I knit across. Now it tells me I'm going to repeat rows 3 to 6 for the pattern until the bracelet measures approximately 5 3/4 inches from the cast on edge, or 1 1/2 inches less than desired finished length. And I'm going to end with a row 6, and you knit your last row. This is making me thirsty. Now, I have a girlfriend by the name of Kathy. It's not Calico Kate. It's one of my real life girlfriends that I know in person. And she is a knitter extraordinaire. And when she does something, she knows the pattern in her mind like right away. Not Lori. Lori has to keep repeating. So I'm going to go back to my row 3. I'm going to bring my camera down a little bit. And hopefully it's not too terribly close. I'm not going to be able to tell until after I look at the recording. And my husband's in the fridge again. It never fails. I mean, this is evening, okay? It's dinner time, and the man is still in the refrigerator when I record. Drives me crazy. So this is my right side. There are my beads. I'm going to knit one. I'm going to bring my yarn in front, and I'm going to bring up a bead. This is a big old bead with the big old hole. It kind of looks like a pony bead. And then I'm going to purl. I take my thread back around to the back of my needle and knit that last stitch. Row 4, I knit across. This is going to take a while for me to do this. But I think it's working. Row 5, I'm going to knit 2. 1, 2. My yarn goes in front of my work. I'm bringing up my next bead. And this one I'm going to purl. I want to make sure that bead stays in front. And my thread goes around back. Row 6, I knit across. Always making sure I'm grabbing the thread that is attached to my beads. That's the back side. I still got green coming up. I wonder where my pink beads are. So row 4 is another knit row. I'm going to turn my work. I'm going to knit. Nope, that's incorrect. See, I'm supposed to do row 3 to 6. So I'm going to take this out. I didn't think that seemed right. Because I got to get that next bead on. Row 3 is what I need, so I gotta knit 1. Of course, my stitch is on backwards. Knit 1. Bring my yarn in front, slide up my bead. Gosh, it's still another green bead. And we'll get to the pink. I'm flipping my stitches. I don't know. I don't take them off. When I take them stitches out, I don't take them off correctly. Purl 1 and then knit. Then I knit across row 4. It's only 3 stitches. Row 5 is knit 2. One, 2. Bringing my yarn in front, and here's our first pink bead. This is exciting. And this last stitch we purl. Take my yarn back around front. And then row 6, I knit. All right, how am I? Now we're about a half an hour. I'm going to do one more section. So I'm back to row 3. I'm just going to scoot all my beads down. Now you could scoot your beads all the way down before you start, I guess, but then you run the risk of your thread getting tangled and knotted. So I just am moving my beads up as I go. So it tells me to knit 1. Somehow I have my thread a little crazy there. Somehow I ended up with 4 stitches, that's why. There we go. I'm in the wrong spot. All right, this is better. Knit 1. Yarn in front. And this is another pony bead. I'm going to slide that up. And I purl. Yarn goes back and I knit off that last stitch. And then I knit back. I'm not even paying attention to see if I'm in screen. All right, so now this one is I knit 2. 1, 2, yarn in front, slide my bead, purl, and then I knit across. And I am trying to knit as tightly as I can. Now, where's my red bag? See if you can see that. See how it's coming along. It looks cool. So I'm going to take this out to my chair and work on this tonight. So what it says is the last row then you will knit, then you're going to bind off and you're going to cut your floss and leave it another 16 inches. Then you're going to thread your tapestry needle with the end and you're going to blanket stitch across the edge of the bound off stitches to reinforce the edge. And then it tells you here, you can look at some pictures in the book. Then you're going to weave the end to the center of the short edge. You're going to remove the tapestry needle, thread the beading needle with the end and pass it through your spacer bead and through the toggle and then back through the spacer beads. So you're going to attach your spacer bead, slack on each side of the toggle, removing the beading needle and then thread your tapestry needle with the end. So maybe I'll come back on and I'll do a second part of this with another Bricolage Daily because that's a little confusing to me. So I'll have to work that out as I do it. And then if anybody wants to try this. And then you anchor the end with a matching sewing thread, and then you apply clear nail polish to the end and you tuck it inside your spacer bead, and then you do the same thing on the opposite end. Now these are the beads they used. They used all different shapes. Mine are all round except for that seed bead, and theirs are all different colors. So far I'm feeling pretty good about it, but I do have a lot more beads to go. So I will get back to you. I'm going to put my little extra bits in my little vessel here, my little pitcher. I'm going to put my beading needle up on my magnet so I don't lose that. Got my spacer beads, and then I'm going to go out to my chair. So I'll get back to you when this is finished. I'll post a picture, hopefully on my community tab. So check back in a day or two and I might have this finished so you can have a look at it. I'm enjoying it so far. Well, thanks for joining me. I hope to see you soon. And if not, you have a great day, good evening, and I'll see you when I see you. Don't forget, take time to be creative and enjoy the journey. Bye-bye for now.